Man, do we have a fun one today. There's nothing better than a pleasant surprise in scouting. Let me just share the secret with you. It is a job that forces you to be cynical. Find the negative in everything. Find the reasons why a player will fail. So when an unexpected player jumps off the tape, you've got to appreciate it, soak it up, embrace the moment. That's today's show, folks. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, 316 days from the NFL draft. Muench, you good?
I'm good, man.
Let's roll this thing. Agree, right, Muench? Like, you got to agree here.
These are the best. These
are
really
the best.
are the best.
And I don't even, you may think he sucks, but I don't. There's a new Mendoza line, man. There's a new Mendoza line. I'm excited. Fernando Mendoza, Cal transfer to Indiana. Whew. We're going to get into that in a second. Couple things off the top. I'm told to just shut up and play ball is what all our audience is telling us. So you, Muench, can share with all of our loyal audience members, people who are here, how they can help support us, because I'm not even allowed to thank them anymore.
Go to the YouTube channel, The McShay Show, and hit the subscribe button on it there. Go to Spotify, hit the follow button. Also, he's at McShay13 on all those socials, Instagram and X. I'm at You Good Muench. That's MUENCH. And again, please consider subscribing to the McShay Show and the McShay Report. Sorry, I got them mixed up.
You can subscribe to both if you want.
Yeah, you can do it for free, but if you're there, you might as well just get it because he's going to get you eventually. Trust me, he's that good of a salesman.
Yeah. Look at Muench, 25 years later.
Might as well just put the credit card down.
And it's not much. It's not much. But today, if you're watching the show right now, and if it's Thursday morning, it's out. The McShay Report is out. We got the Fernando Mendoza full breakdown, like in detail, including a ton of plays. We're doing that with every quarterback that we do. And as we get further into the offseason, we'll do it with position groups, and we'll see you all the way up into the mock draft, the appropriately early mock draft in August, and all of our position rankings and preseason heading in. We're just going to get you ready for the season. If you're a college football fan, an NFL fan, or NFL draft fan, we got you covered. Okay. So that's that. I did find this interesting. We've got a new fan, Muench. Her name is Betsy. She's been watching the show since she was literally 1 day old. Okay. We are told by Anna Murray, her mama, that she stops crying when we put you guys on, is what she said. She said, not sure who she enjoys more, Todd or Steve. I think you can tell by this video we're about to show in a second that it's Steve. Because who wouldn't? I mean, look at the big fella.
I'm great to put people to sleep, man.
Well, in the voice and the dulcet tones coming out of the Muench. But she goes on to say, but we love you guys. Video proof attached. P.S. Loving the summer content and QB deep dives. Anna Murray. So Anna, we thank you. We thank you and your family.
Thank you, Anna.
Let's check out this video of Muench keeping a wonderful daughter named Betsy at peace.
Button on the YouTube channel, hit the follow button on Spotify. I don't know Apple. Is it follow on Apple?
I do love how you still don't know. Is it follow on Apple?
But you think I'd figure it out?
So if you've got any more videos,
that's awesome.
You got any fun? It's awesome. Summertime, man. Let's have some fun together. We're working on it, by the way, the summer Spotify playlist too. Getting DJX involved.
Yeah, I thought we might get one song and McShay gets like 15. Is that how it's going to work?
No, I want everyone on the show. I
all right.
Like, I'm excited to see. I mean, we know you're going to have some jam band music, man. We can
25-minute tweezer jam, man.
And I'll have some, like, I'll show my age, but I'll try to be cool, and that won't work either. But I want to see, like, what's Tuck into? What's our boy Tucker into? What about Dan, Conor, like Mark, Eduardo?
Yeah, what's Eduardo got going on?
This is kind of like this is a moment of truth. So we're going to work on that with DJX, who is awesome, by the way. I told you I met him in Detroit. Let's just dive into this.
Yeah, let's go.
Fernando Mendoza Had to figure out the first challenge was which Mendoza brother. His brother's in Indiana as well. 6'5", 220 pounds, estimated 4.85, 4.940. Okay. Began his career
faster than that. I think he's faster than that.
The estimates online, if I'm being honest, were like 4.95. I dropped it to 4.85. I think we'll get into it. Okay.
I think he can scoot. He can scoot, man.
He began his career at Cal. He redshirted in 2022. I didn't play a snap as far as I could see. Took over as a starter on October 12th that year against Oregon State. It was. Yeah. Played 9 games, started 8. Okay. And completed 63% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Kind of, up and down as you would expect. Kind of, not only was it his first year as a starter, he kind of got, he jumped into that role. But I thought he made we talked about Drew Aller the other day from year 1 to year 2. Well, this one, you could tell it was a season where he wasn't expected to start in 23, got his starts, had some ups and downs, but a big jump in 2024. Okay. Completed almost 69% of his throws, 16 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. Okay. So he's played in 20 career games. He's got 19 starts going into the season, which I like. You go rip off another 13. We're talking about, 32 games played, 31 starts, something like that. Yeah, and he's obviously like Kirk Signetti, for as crazy as the quotes are and the behavior and some of the stuff, like my man can coach. And he also knows how to recruit. And fuck if he did not get a absolute rising star in this guy.
By the way, Mendoza was third in the. All right, go ahead. Do your thing.
Nothing, Bud.
Yeah, he's good, man. Listen, he was third in the ACC in passing yards per game last year, behind McCord at Syracuse, who had a monster year. No one threw the ball more than Syracuse. McCord put up monster numbers. Cam Ward, the first overall pick at Miami, and then Fernando Mendoza at Cal. And behind him, Cade Klubnik from Clemson was at 5. Tyler Shuck from Louisville was at 4. The touchdowns, didn't throw a lot of touchdowns. He's tied for 10th in the ACC, but when you look at those yards per game and then you throw on the tape and you're like, oh boy, this kid can play. Let's go into the before we launch into it too much.
All right. Position specific traits. We do this for every position, and we do it for quarterbacks. And during the summer scouting series, we started out like trying to be like, we'll go by mental makeup and we'll give 5 minutes on that and accuracy. And it just was a boring show. We're here to self-scout as well and self-admit. I think it's more fun the way we've been doing it recently. Let's rip through the 4 position-specific traits, okay, for the quarterback position. I'll tell you those now. Mental makeup, accuracy, release/arm strength. We talk about like LTA, load to arrival, whatever it is. From the millisecond that a quarterback goes to pull the trigger to when the ball arrives is essentially what we're measuring there. And there's no scientific measure. It is years and years of scouting experience, okay? And then there's pocket mobility. And as we always share, and I'll do it if this is the first time you're watching, 1 is elite, 2 is good, 3 is average, 4 is below average, 5 is marginal. Golf score, as I always say, lower the better. So let's just rip it off. You tell me your score for each, your grade, for each, and I will give you mine, and we'll go through, and then I'll let you take the floor. We'll run with it, and we'll give some NFL comps, and we'll talk about what we think is next for Mendoza. Mental makeup, what was your grade?
3.5. This one was tough.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Sorry.
Yeah.
I went with 2, but considered 1.5.
Wow. Here we go. Let's get into it.
Accuracy.
2.
I went 1.5.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Release arm.
2.
1.5.
Wow. Wow.
I like this guy.
Yeah, a lot, huh?
You see those?
I like him too.
Chubby cheeks.
I like him too, but all right. What'd you give him for pocket mobility? 1?
3.
3. I give him a 2. This is good. We've agreed a lot of stuff. Yeah. I want to get the mental makeup right away, and I'll tell you why. What my concerns are.
Okay.
6 interceptions last year. I thought that number could have been a lot higher. I think he has a problem with reading guys who drop underneath, about specifically linebackers who drop underneath and on when he's throwing over the middle. Also, you look at Auburn.
Yeah, that nickel corner. Florida State, was it? I was actually watching it with tape this morning. I was making him watch 20 plays of tape every day.
He threw a pick right to the linebacker in the Miami game.
Yeah.
The Florida State game, there was a play. He has a problem with that read. He's got to develop that read a little bit more. I think this number could easily jump significantly higher.
127 second quarter. Bad read. Doesn't see nickel undercutting wide receiver. Easy pick. What was he seeing here? Is what? Okay, go ahead.
Stare down a receiver against Auburn. If the Auburn corner doesn't drop the ball,
drop the pick.
It's going the other way.
Yeah. But go back and watch that again.
I know. I know what you're going to say. That
the receiver was cushioned. It was off coverage.
Yes,
the receiver was supposed to break it, and he was like, "All right, go ahead."
Yeah, I think you're bailing him out a little bit. Just going to be honest.
Not on that one, but go ahead.
And I also thought that he wasn't terrible, but Syracuse and Miami were 2 of the bigger games for them last year, and he was just okay in those games. I want to see the step up this year. You're going to. What do they have? I think they have Oregon in October in Eugene, and then Penn State in November at Happy Valley. Welcome to the big leagues. Like, the ACC, that's a tough run in the ACC. It's a little bit different when you go into Eugene to play that Oregon team. I want to see how he elevates his game, how well he plays in those games. I give him a 3.5. Maybe that's harsh. 3 maybe is a better number, but I'm not ready to go higher than that until I see some, the way he reads defenses gets a little bit better for me.
I do like the fact that he's tall, 6'5". He sees the whole field. I think he does. I do. Yes, he is well put. He can see the whole field. He does go through progressions quickly. Sometimes maybe you could argue a little rushed. I think he has very good instincts on the move, and we can get to some of that stuff too. Very comfortable outside the pocket. I also love his toughness, man. This guy hanging in when he does decide he's going to see his reads through. He is. I'll just say I gave him a Jared Goff comp.
Okay,
and
I struggled with the comp.
I also want to make this perfectly clear, and it's an indictment on me. I'm self-reporting here. I'm such an idiot. I was going through, I keep my quarterback list. I was going through sometimes like Nussmeier with Baker Mayfield. It's like Baker. Sometimes I'm like you said, you struggle. Sometimes it's like, well, let me go through. And I was like Goff, right? So I went through Goff and started writing up some of the comparisons between the two. Not perfect. None of these things are perfect. I'm such fucking idiot sometimes, man.
What'd you say?
No, nothing. I didn't say anything, but I literally gave the comp. And 3 hours later, I was looking down at my notes and I was like, oh yeah, Goff went to Cal too. This looks so lazy.
Oh yeah.
I hate when people make lazy comps. I
hate when people get worried about getting accused of making a lazy comp and then they just don't do it. If it's a good comp, it's a good comp.
I think it's a good comp, and it wasn't the Cal thing. Was the whole point of that
right?
Story. All right. Well, let me give you the reasons I love him, and then you can counter. And it's not going to be, it's not going to be structured by necessarily the position specific traits. I think this son of a gun is tough in the pocket, but as importantly, but what stood out to me more than anything on his tape, he knows where to put the football. And that's why I think my accuracy grade was higher than your accuracy grade, not a huge difference. I don't know that if we talk about missing in the strike zone, it's not even that. He missed, he's not perfect, but defensive back with his back to him, he gives his receivers the best trajectory and angle an opportunity to go up and make the play on the ball. He does it down the left rail, does it down the right rail. He does it on a post. He does it on the quick short fade in the middle of the field. It was like over and over again. Back shoulder fade. I know a lot of guys
He's
do
really
that.
good with the back shoulder
He's
ball.
unbelievable with the back shoulder fade. And then on top of that, I do think he's impatient sometimes. And while he can go through his reads quickly, he bails on his read early. But he's just a pup, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm expecting just like we expect a big jump, not a big jump. We know the areas that we have to see from Aller, we just talked about on Monday, to see that improvement. And it's performing in big games. It's not jitters. It's not getting affected by pressure. It's foot agility. It's throwing on the move. With him, go ahead.
Can I tell you why I'm optimistic about that jump? Listen to this, because I went back and you think about Cignetti and his offense coordinator, Mike Shanahan. This is the fourth year in a row, they are bringing in a transfer quarterback. Okay, that they've done this before. They're at JMU before Indiana.
Going to
last
JMU,
year.
yeah.
So let's start at JMU in 2022. They bring in Todd Centeio from Colorado State. They go 8-3. He's the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. You're like, oh, Sun Belt, whatever. That's the first year the JMU played Division I football. They go 8-3 and have the Offensive Player of the Year as their quarterback, who they brought in from Colorado State. What do they do next year? They go and get Jordan McLeod, who's at Arizona and Temple. Go 11-2. And guess who's the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year? Jordan McLeod. Who did they go out and get? Curtis Rourke from Ohio. He comes in. I think he set the passing record for touchdowns in a season at Indiana. He ends up being a 7th-round pick, who we both talked about, like, wow, San Francisco getting Curtis Rourke in the 7th round. Why, eyebrows shot up a little bit of like what could happen here. They know what they want in a player in terms of quarterback. You think about the RPOs that Indiana wants to run. You think about the deep shots they like to take sometimes off those RPOs. Man, I look at Mendoza. The systems
are somewhat similar too. It's not going to be a big leap. Yeah,
and I think you mentioned it. Alberto Mendoza, the younger brother, is at Indiana. Do you think they know what they're getting from this family and this human being and the player that's coming in? Man, I'm the fit. The way Indiana's identified quarterbacks in the way he fits in their scheme, I'm optimistic that this kid could take a big jump this year in this offense.
Well, you think about Rourke, and the thing with Rourke was he couldn't move.
And he was playing on
but last year on tape, whatever, I'm not here to evaluate Rourke. I'm here to tell you, my man couldn't move.
Right. Mendoza's even if he was healthy, I think Mendoza's a step up in terms of mobility.
Mendoza's a step up in mobility, and he's even more accurate, I think. And he's got a better arm.
Yes. He's got a better arm. Live arm, man.
So you're getting all the positives from Rourke. It's like a Rourke plus situation if you're IU. Mm-hmm. This is an upgrade.
Yeah, I agree. You think about that mobility too when you look at when he was at Cal and you talked about this. They love to roll him. They love to get him outside the pocket. I wonder if Cal had some protection issues. They would get him outside the pocket. And one of the things I really liked is when the force defender would step up, because obviously you're watching tape on Cal. They want to get this guy outside the pocket. He's a problem when he gets outside the pocket. You're going to have a force defender, someone there to prevent him from getting outside. And I saw it a few times. He'd plant his foot and then shoot right upfield on the inside of the force defender. So if you're taking something away, he adjusts to it and makes a play with his feet. I was really impressed by that. And like I said, I think he could scoot. Like he had a 50-yard run against Stanford. When I went back, I didn't look at the stats. I went back and I saw that he had 102 rushing yards on the year and was stunned because of how well I think he runs when he takes off. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran the 4.7s, maybe low 4.8s. I think he's got some, like, a much better speed than a 4.9 guy.
Yeah, but I think he's 4.7 at best. I think he's probably 4.75 to 4.8, probably in that range. I don't think he's fast. I don't think, but coming off of Aller, he looked like Usain Bolt.
That's true too, right?
Here's the other thing: snap delivery, crisp, just like, and it comes down the back, shoot a touch, whatever, but it's crisp. It's just like quick and crisp and snap, like just snap. The ball snaps off his hand. It's like,
yeah.
And and he's got good energy. We talked about with Aller, the energy on the deep ball at the end. Like you're looking for like a Scud missile or a Patriot missile, going back to showing my age. Where you see the target in like the last second, like, his ball comes in. And then again, I keep going back in my mind from watching him. The placement of, it's not just the placement, okay? It's the trajectory of the placement. He's a fucking wide receiver's dream. The back's turned on a DB. Give me the ball here. Don't make me go here. Don't make me fight through him. Give me the ball here. Let me come back to it. Not because you underthrew it, but because you purposely spotted it here. If I got to step on the guy, get it over his head. And he did it over and over and over again on tape, man. His ball doesn't flutter or sail at the end. It comes in. He's got energy. There was a throw. I was watching. Yeah, it was right after and I like this. It was shortly after the interception. Terrible, the easy pick we just talked about. I had Tate in the office today, driving him crazy because I got him off Fortnite for a minute, and I got him watching tape, train his brain on something else. 5:14 the second quarter, so it was. Yeah, I don't know. It was a few minutes after that interception on game time. Rolling to his right from his own end zone. I don't know if you remember this play against Florida State. Just like the couillons, the onions, because you got his zone coverage and the corner's got the flat, and he's rolling to his right, and he's literally like 6-7 yards in his own end zone, and you just threw a terrible pick. And you see the DB is coming, but to trust your arm on the move and to make that throw, and it was like just out of the extended arm from the or hand from the defensive back. There was just a lot of cool stuff on tape for a guy that I'll self-admit again. I was like, why are we doing a Cal quarterback in this summer scouting series? Like let's see him at IU for a year. Let's and no disrespect to Cal, but like I just didn't know a whole lot about him. And I texted the scout, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't gotten to his tape." And I'm like, "I don't." And Muench starts watching him. He's like, "No, we're doing a show on Mendoza." And I'm like, "All right." So we'll watch. So I start watching the tape. I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're doing a show on Mendoza."
Yeah, I thought he could beat pressure with his feet. I also thought there was a couple times where he recognized where the pressure was coming and threw to the vacated area. Like he could beat it with his feet. He could beat it with his arm. There was some, and when you do look at some of the stuff of getting through the reads, I saw that too. He can get to his third read, the height, all of that adding up, and I get all of that. The only mental makeup thing for me was there was a couple times where it's like he's not seeing that. I've seen that now 4 or 5 times to know that that's fooling him, and that's something you could fix. That's something he can work on with more reps. But that and me wanting to see him on a bigger stage was why my mental makeup grade wasn't as high as yours.
But he's tall. He's got fast eyes. He can see the whole field. He's tough. He hangs in the pocket. He's deadly accurate on a lot of.
We agree on that one. He's under pressure. He makes a lot of plays. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's deadly accurate rolling to his right, especially, but even to his left, he makes it makes some good throws. He's not fast, but he's mobile, and he's got some quickness to him, and he's instinctive as a runner. That's the other thing. He's not like an RPO, and maybe he'll do more of that this year, and he'll have some success. But he's not like a designed run guy that we're trying to bring that from the college game to the NFL.
He runs the RPO where he's going to hand it to the back or throw it to the slot or the tight
end. And occasionally, like he might.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, but you combine all the and then the zip and the energy on the ball, and then understanding like where to put the ball and the trajectory and the touch and the timing. Like, get a pen out. You got a pen there?
I do.
Kids don't use pens anymore. Paper. All right. Arch Manning aside.
Oh no, we're stacking them now.
Just want to have a conversation. Arch Manning, we both agree that's 2027 story until otherwise notified.
Okay.
So in a good way, and we're not saying, well, he's not ready. Like just in a good way. I just think the Manning family is
Right.
going to keep Arch.
There's just not enough. There's not enough
There's a
of body of
developmental
work.
process that the Manning family is acutely aware of, and unless some circumstance change or he has a year that whatever it is, I just fully expect it to be 2027. So we have done Nussmeier from LSU. We have done the 2 state of South Carolina quarterbacks now in Sellers. I'm writing it down. Sellers and Klubnik. We have done Aller, and we have done Mendoza. We're going to do Mateer. Is Arizona State eligible? Is Levitt eligible? We might do Levitt too.
Yeah, the Baylor kid's pretty good too, by the way. There's some guys in the
That's
weeds.
what I told you. I talked to a scout this morning who's like, this class is shaping up.
Yeah, there's some kids in the weeds
sick.
here. Like,
I haven't heard the word sick in a while, but it's pretty, I laughed at it.
Dope.
Yeah. So Nussmeier, Sellers, Klubnik, Aller, Mendoza. Rank them.
God, I hate you right now. This is what I do to you. This is the shit that I do to you.
Well, payback's a bitch.
All right, I'm just gonna go off the top of my mind. I'm gonna get off the show. I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna hate myself because I'm gonna get this wrong. Because I'm gonna want to change it. First of all, Sellers is my 1. I feel very comfortable with Sellers as my 1 right now. That's the guy to me. I compared him to Josh Allen. I better have him as my number 1. And then I'm gonna go Klubnik. I know that might surprise some people, but Clemson, I love you. Klubnik, Aller, Nussmeier, Mendoza. Yeah, right. You put yourself in this position, my man.
Yeah, it's a terrible.
We're gonna do a whole show about this, right?
Of course we are. I'm saying like currently where we are, and we'll also go back and then rewatch and refresh. Like this process is just starting. All right. See, I view Sellers at this point in his process the same way I viewed Jalen Milroe last year when we started the show in October.
Wow.
He's no. Listen, would you listen before you react?
Wow. No. What fun is that?
As a wild card. I'm not saying they're the same. Although I did talk to a scout who actually said Milroe is his comp. I'm not even saying that. That's his comp. That's not mine. I'm not comparing what I'm comparing is the point in their development with the traits to develop. And we all agree Milroe should be back in college for 1 more year. Okay. That's my only point. I believe just like Arch Manning, no matter how well this season goes for Lenora Sellers, I absolutely love his skill set. I absolutely think he can be a star. And I think his upside is higher than all of these guys. All of them. I don't want him in the 2026 draft. Selfishly, I should.
You're such a goddamn politician. You didn't say whether or not I wanted this guy in. You asked me to rank these 5.
You took the bait.
Rank them.
Klubnik, Nussmeier, Mendoza, Aller.
Where'd you put Sellers? You took Sellers out of it?
Wild card. He's 2027. I would probably.
I honestly don't even know you. You are a guy that has. You are the nation of laws.
Klubnik, Sellers, Nussmeier, Mendoza, Aller.
Okay.
But I swear to you, as we sit here right now, second week in June, I swear to you, while they're all differing quarterbacks to a certain degree, as is always the case. I mean, Ward was so different than Shador, who was so different than Dart, who was so different than Milroe, right? Those were the 4. They're all like, but as we sit here today in the second week of June, looking ahead to next year's draft, 2026, next April, 316 days away, okay? I think they all have the potential to be early draft picks. And I don't think at this point there's a huge gap between them. The reason I put Sellers with the wild card is because he's the least ready, but he's the most talented.
Yeah, to be clear, I agree with you. I think they should all go back as long as the money's right and all that stuff. And they're like, you can't tell someone to make a decision based on knowing half the information. And I don't know what's going on with his family.
I don't think Klubnik should go back after this. I don't think Aller should go back after this.
No matter what, your blanket statement.
No, if things go, if they stay healthy the whole season and nothing like outrageous or crazy happens, if it's kind of like they had a good year or they didn't have the best year, I think Klubnik's played a lot of ball and it's probably going to be time to move on. We've seen the progression if he continues in that arc. Same thing with Aller, certainly.
Yeah. But I will say selfishly, I want them all to come out at the same time. I want that. It's not the right thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If Sellers goes in 2027 and Arch is in 2027 and we don't know about guys like Mendoza for 2020, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right.
So now we've already got Nussmeier, Klubnik, Aller, Mendoza. We're going to get to Matier. We could have a Levitt, and there's one lurking out there. I'm talking this class could be 8 or 9 deep in the first 2 rounds. It could be. I'm not saying it will be. This class is exciting.
It is. I'm amped, man. Like every time we throw on a guy, there's no one in this process yet who's disqualified himself, where we've thrown on the tape to either check to see whether we want to do a show on them or, wow, he's not as good as we thought he was going to be. And I don't know what the buzz is about. We haven't had that conversation yet about one of these players.
Even Aller, I was worried because there were some things I saw that were concerning. I just wasn't ready to be fully and I'm still not fully bought in. Like I've read where it's like he would have been the number 2 overall pick in this draft, and like I'm not there yet. But
no,
I am after watching like 230 plus snaps. I'm like, he's better than maybe I thought, and I see it now. Can he make that next step?
Agree.
This is awesome. But fun. Mendoza, All right, we'll be back next week on Monday. Matier, our boy Conor Nevins, favorite quarterback, keeps him up late on Saturday nights. So I'm excited to see him, and then we'll continue the series from there. I don't know if we're going to add another quarterback or start going to Clemson's defense or where we're going to go, but we'll keep you posted. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you Monday. Thanks. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.